التعدي على دول الجوار بشكل أو بآخر. اطمنوا على مصر كويس، محدش بفضل الله يقدر يقرب للبلد دي.
Welcome back once again. We now retrieved Mr. Ramzy Khoury, the journalist, the writer, and the political analyst. Welcome back once again, Mr. Ramzy. Hello.
Hello. Hello. How are you? Hello.
Welcome back once again. So we were talking about the Strait of Hormuz and the center of the whole conflict, and at the same time, it is the conflict in its own right, because the real reason for hitting Iran was controlling its oil refineries and controlling its natural resources. They imagined that this is going to be a second scenario of a Venezuela or Iraq or something like that. But with a country with that history like Iran, with that population and with that culture, and that civilization, it was a very badly taken calculation on the side of the American side. It wasn't calculated in a right way. Do you agree or no?
I totally agree. There was no calculation, and we haven't seen the worst of this. If the Americans, and the only way to avert this is for the Americans to say enough is enough, let's end this war. If they end the war, this is where we do not see any escalation. But if there is escalation, then the Hormuz Channel will be closed, and the Iranians will attack oil refineries all over the region. Let me tell you what is going on after the American attack on Khoury. The Americans didn't dare touch the oil. Right now, there are two tankers in Khoury Island that are being stocked with 2.7 million barrels of oil that will be shipped through the Hormuz Channel. So the Hormuz Canal is open, and the Iranians are using it, and the Iranians need to use it because they need to sell their oil in order to make sure that their people don't starve. So until today, things are somewhat under control. But also today, the price of oil and gas inside of the United States has gone up, and in a dramatic way. And the Americans now are going to want to understand, why are we doing this war? You said regime change. Well, it didn't happen. And it looks like it will not happen. You will not be able to change the regime unless you send troops down on the ground, which means a lot of Americans are going to go back in body bags by default. Even the Israelis are terrified and are very calculating regarding entering the south of Lebanon, because the Israelis have had a plan to go in and reoccupy the whole south of Lebanon up until the Litani River. And they haven't done it, despite the fact that they have been ready for it for a few days now. Until now, they haven't started because they are worried that once they go in, Hezbollah is going to cause a lot of damage to their troops. And therefore, and they were surprised by Hezbollah's ability to do that so far. So basically, if going down on the ground and troops on the ground and boots on the ground means a lot of people are going to die. A lot of military personnel who are on the ground are going to die because the Iranians are able to defend their territory. Iran is not Venezuela, and Iran is definitely not Iraq either. Iran is a country that has been expecting this war for the past 40 years and has been readying for it for the past 40 years. The system and the regime in Iran is also pretty tight inside of Iran, and it's not going to happen that Iranians are going to come out and overturn the regime. Despite all of the calls of Benjamin Netanyahu onto the Iranians. What this did is that it united the Iranians rather than created a situation where there could be a popular revolution.
Right. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Of course, thank you so much, Mr. Ramzy Khoury, the journalist, writer, and analyst. I'd like to thank you so much, and you have a good evening. Now it's the Israeli strike that hit an apartment building in northern Beirut suburb that had also been targeted a day earlier. And in addition, the Lebanese health authorities said Saturday that an Israeli strike in southern Lebanon killed a dozen doctors, paramedics, and nurses at a healthcare clinic. More details.
An Israeli strike hit an apartment building in northern Beirut suburb that had also been targeted a day earlier. In addition, Lebanese health authorities said on Saturday